Hey dude, so I had a look. I don't have a lot of time because I've got a meeting in 10 minutes, but yeah, it's looking better. I think it feels heavier. First thing I noticed was, well, obviously the camera shake, which works good. I noticed the head shakes, which I think is going in the good direction because it makes it a little bit more interesting. Although I would say that shake here works well, in my opinion. Here, though, I kind of dislike what's happening here and the fact that the head is here and kind of locked. Um, so I don't know. It kind of look like he wants to lead with the head with that pose, but I don't see that in the animation. Um, I don't see that, and he just like keep that pose where he's looking. I mean, ultimately, I know like with this type of skull and the eyes being on the side, that's is basically looking here, right? Uh, that's cool, but it doesn't really work, I think, here. Like it doesn't make it very appealing, if you know what I mean. So it looks more odd than anything else. The next thing I noticed first on the first views was I think you need a bit more a bit more of a whiplash effect on the chest where because this is basically this lens first, so then the rest should just sorry. So then the rest should just, have that whiplash effect. So this from here, I'm guessing this would be like kind of like the neck thing. But what I'm saying is the chest, in my opinion, should be a bit more delayed rather. Yeah, and then you definitely want to have a straighter hand pose here. So like lower the shoulder, make sure you've got some nice shape here. It seems like you're stretching out things a little bit too much. So yeah, just like have that. He's prepared to land and to grip. So I think, he should have whatever the clothes. I think the clothes are not like this, but you know what I mean, like straight one at least. I would argue perhaps both would be needed, but might make it less interesting. If you don't, make sure that you are cleaning up here because it doesn't look great. But yeah, like more of a straight pose here. If you've got only one side, make sure that you rotate the chest towards, like towards this rotation here, just so it makes sense that he's stretching the his leg to prepare for contact. I would argue as well that perhaps the back legs here, although they kind of feel nice, I think I kind of dislike that the rotation of the foot is so upwards here. Um, I don't think he would land heel first. I think he would land toe first. So yeah, it makes it. I think it's for the best as well because the shape here is not very nice, and here the underneath of the foot is not very nice as well. And think of your body mechanic as well here. Like make sure you rotate your hips towards where if this leg is stretched, then this should be the lowest part. But by the way, I'm sorry, I'm drawing with the mouse, but like should be rotated like this, if you know what I mean. So this should be pulled down, and the rotation should be that way. So you've got more space. If that's what you're going for, more not more space, sorry, more reach for the leg. Um, the next thing is, I just watched few references of bird landing, because I know it's very tricky. But by the way, see how I think your chest here is, although I think your center of gravity is around here, so don't know where you track your trajectory, but in my opinion, this should be buttery smooth. Like whatever your trajectory is. So I think yours is doing something like this. I think the chest is, I mean, your center of gravity, which is roughly below the chest, I think, should be buttery smooth, but like very, very, very smooth. You need to make sure of that. And right now I don't think I mean it is, but you see here where it's here you've got a weird, I don't know if it's the camera, but you've got a weird trajectory going on. I'm just looking at this right now, this part of the, and if you just look when I scroll, it's a little bit messy, and then it drops here. So this should be very, very smooth, honestly, like unnaturally smooth. Just look at this. So okay, this thing is lightweight, right? But like how crazy that is. Look at the head, it's not moving. And it's actually very interesting to just see the like the body mechanic. So as soon as he flaps down, you see the tail going up, his hips going up, and as soon as the physics stops, the physics of the push created by the wings flap stops, you see his hips are gonna drop. It's it's amazing to see. But see how that head and chest is not moving. It's like what? It is crazy. So granted, this thing is super lightweight, right? And your dragon is different, but dude, that's crazy. It's crazy to see. It's amazing. It feels natural. Like when you think about it, it's like how is that even possible that he calculates? I mean, I know he calculates nothing. It's just infused in his in his movement and stuff. But it is crazy to when you think about the complexity of the physicality of it. It is nuts. It is nuts that the head is so still and the chest is so still, where there is so much movement on the of the his arms. I mean his wings. Like when you think of how much movement that creates when if you were trying to mimic that with your arms, like how much your chest is moving. Um, if you were to flap your wings like a crazy person, and this guy. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm just geeking out a bit too much here, but my point is that see how still that is, and see how this is just following basically the hips. Um, but they are very, very good. Like for the few videos I watched, it is crazy how precise they are and like how smooth when they land um when they land on something, how smooth their center of gravity is. Like they really, so I don't have a video here. I don't think I saved it, but I watched it. That's not the one. But anyway, what I was gonna say is, let's say they would. So I apologize again. I'm drawing with the mouse, but like if a bird were to land here, so first I think it would not drop as much as you did, although perhaps, I mean that doesn't feel weird what you did, but I would just calculate things very, 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 very smoothly, so there is basically no impact at all, almost. So granted, it's small birds mainly that I'm watching, but you don't see, that big, big whiplash effect that you are trying to go for here, which makes sense because like this is what we want to see. That's cool. But when you watch the reference, actually, they are very, very precise, and how they land is just everything is just absorbed by their legs. Like they extend their legs a lot, brace for impact basically, and then like this just continues. So this would be the hips, right? This would just continue the trajectory it was going for. You don't see anything, and you just have basically the legs that is doing all the shock absorber work. It is beautiful to watch, and everything is super smooth. You see sometimes in the few slow-mo videos I watch, the only thing you see is basically their meat or their muscle, around basically around their belly. You see that jiggle a little bit, but everything else is super buttery smooth. So I'm not saying that's what you should do, but that's good to know about all that. So I think you should have either the hips or either the chest. I mean, it is tricky. It is tricky, I think, in your case. I think basically what I'm trying to say is I don't think he would approach and have that much impact in reality, but it makes it much cooler to have the impact and sells the weight as well. Um, it works much better, by the way, the follow through. It's quite nice. On the chest, we feel the weight more. I would argue that the shot needs to be a bit longer, both at the beginning and both at the end. All right, sorry, I've got a meeting. I've got to go, but yeah, man, it's looking better and better. I think you need to try things as well. So, like I said, make sure everything is buttery smooth. And if you look at the tail here, that shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen. That should be the tail should just be telling us like what your trajectory arc looks like in Maya. And right now, like this is not good. So you need to break out things as much as possible, but start with having a perfectly buttery smooth trajectory. What I was gonna say next, yeah, did I mention to extend? Shit, I gotta hurry up, but that's fine. Make sure that you extend um your sorry, horrible drawing, your arms to brace for impact. He's whoops, he's gonna need some grip here, so like make sure that you rotate your chest as well, where you give the more this the arm basically is pulling that thing. I don't know. I'm just drawing this in the option where you are just extending one l- arm, not both. Um, I think it would make it a bit more interesting than to have both arms extended. But why not? That's stuff you need to try because you've got a camera locked into a camera, so you need to try what works best. Um, yeah. So yeah, I think more of a whiplash effect to help selling the weight, brace for impact here, and work with that head doesn't work so well, I find. The shake works well, but then the landing doesn't. It's not the landing actually, it's more like from here to here, because then the follow through works really well. This. So I don't know. Work out something here. Work out something here for the head. Um, and yeah, the wings, I'm not sure they would do this, although I kind of feel good. I kind of feel good. I would like to see those membranes vibrate as much as possible, man. That will help you tell that this thing is fucking heavy, especially here when you see. It doesn't feel too bad, but try to be careful of how quickly the C shapes turns here. I don't know. Yeah, it's not looking too bad, but I think it's the the shape changes a bit too quickly. Yeah, actually, especially on this one, um it looks like is something is hitting it. Bing. Yeah, so that should be very, very smooth. The more smooth, the heavier it will feel. The camera shake helps. I would say it's probably a bit too brutal, but that's a little bit like, you're cheating a bit too much here. Yeah. And then next thing, and then definitely I need to go into my meeting. I'm already 1 minute late. Is that shapes here? I'm not a fan of it. Also, would he land with heel first or would he land with toes first? You should try out. In my opinion, in my opinion, I don't know. I'm fighting with myself. I would. The thing is, I dislike, and you probably heard me saying this already, but I dislike those type of shapes here. So like this, it doesn't. It's not really nice here. It feels a bit better, but here it's like. Also, by the way, make sure that as a rule of thumb, this thing is. Yeah, you kind of have. This thing is parallel to this one. But here, I don't know, there's a shape here that I really dislike, so you could work something a bit better, I think. Work out something a bit better. Yeah, I don't know, man, it doesn't feel nice here. I think it's too rotated, that way. All right, sorry, I gotta go. But yeah, it's nice improvement, man. Sorry, I've been rambling a lot, but yeah, it's cool. Good direction.